I am excited to share you that I have received my copy of Standards for Program Management 5th edition. Especially it is signed by the president of PMI. So when I look at this standard, it is an effort of 2.5 year commitment and passion to bring something which is more relatable and valuable to the industry and the profession. One of the key things that we talked about in this standard is we are aligning all these standards from process based to principle based, and we did it first in project management body of knowledge 7th edition. Now it was the time to talk about the standard for program management 5th edition. So this 5th edition is actually a principle based edition rather than a process based edition. But when I look at the standard for program management 4th edition, I don't call it a process based standard. I would call them a domain based standard. So I would say that it is extending the domain from domain based to the principle based. The overall standard is divided into 4 sections. First section is about what is program management, what is the role of a program manager and a sponsor, and more importantly, how do we differentiate program with project and portfolio management. One of the highlight that I would like to mention here is that whenever I do trainings about project and program management, people got confused from program versus portfolio. When we talk about portfolio and program, it's like they both have multiple projects, and we talk about that one is related and one is aligned, but again this is how you are going to talk about it. But the key feature that I learned when I was arguing during my time in Oxford, that what is the difference between program and portfolio, that when we look at program, it is more towards that program is temporary and it has a definite end date. But when you talk about a portfolio, it does not have a definite end date. So this time when we were working towards the new model or new standard, we deliberately define this thing in section 1, so that whoever is actually reading the book, reading the standard, he or she understand what does it mean and how can we differentiate program versus portfolio. Another key part is when we are talking about differentiating the program versus the project. So we have difference from the perspective of uncertainty, complexity and change, but we have worked on that how can we give some examples and more clarity into the difference between program versus the project, and I believe it did the justice of defining these concepts and these elements. Then the second section of this program is based on program principles. So when we talk about principles, it's about norms and truths and values we hold. So when we talk about program principles, we have 8 principles that we have mentioned in this book. Among 8 principles, one of my favorite principle is the benefit realization, because when we talk about program, our intention is very clear to generate benefits. So how we are going to realize the benefit during the program, and what are the actions we are taking to make sure that benefits are realized from the program. One key element that we add here, and we also talked about in the collaboration, in terms of collaboration and domain perspective, is the synergy, that how we are building or creating a synergy within the program domain and outside the program domain to make sure that the teams and the stakeholders are working together towards the one intended benefit. So we have 8 principles that we can talk about in this in this standard, and when we talk about these principles, as I said earlier, it's basically number 1 principle that we can talk about is stakeholders, that how we are going to identify and engage the stakeholder throughout the program, and more importantly managing setting their expectations, benefit realization, synergy. Another important aspect is team of teams, because when you talk about program consists of multiple projects, and every project has their own team members, and sometimes we have shared team members among program projects. So how we are going to engage them and utilize them for the overall program delivery and managing their dependencies. change, when we talk about program is all about bringing the change in an organization, either by increasing the capacity, building the capability, launching a new product or service, or developing a new facility or enhancing facility for the growth perspective. So change is one of the key elements that we need to look into it from the program perspective. Leadership is all we need to drive that change. Risk that we need to look into it, especially when we were discussing the concept of risk that we need to talk about here. I have used the new models that we are talking in terms of thinking fast and slow from Daniel Kahneman perspective, that what is the optimistic biasness, how can we see the risk in projects and program both from technical perspective and from psychological perspective. So we have added that part also this time, and thanks to my learnings from Oxford, that played a pivotal role in defining the risk in this concept. Then governance, that how we are going to make sure that program is being initiated, being monitored, being oversight, and they are delivering the intended benefits that we were looking from the program. So these are the 8 key principles that we have listed down and defined in this standard. Then the section 3 is about performance domains. Previously we had 5 performance domains, which were strategy, benefit, life cycle, stakeholders, and this time we talked about the 6th, I must say, framework, that domain, that is the I would say collaboration, because when we talk about performance domain, that help us to see what are the key elements that we need to consider when we are delivering the program. So strategy help us in 2 ways. One is that what is our organization strategy that we are trying to achieve through our program, and what is my program strategy, which type of customer, which type of technology, which type of product we are going to build when we are doing the program. So there is one organization strategy, and then there is one program strategy that I need to look into it. So that is also much clarified in terms of the strategic management perspective and domain. Then benefit, we do programs to achieve the benefits. So benefit life cycle is same that we talked about in standard 4th edition standard is the same here, but couple of components were defined in more clarity with some of the examples. Then stakeholder is much same that we talked about in the previous edition. Governance, I would say it was neatly redefined, and we talked about governance roles definition and governance plan importance, and more importantly, how do we see the role of a PMO as a governance of a program. So that was also very much aligned and inclined towards the overall perspective. Finally, collaboration. Collaboration is very important when we are doing the program. So collaboration is encompassing all the 5 previous domains, which were strategy, benefit, governance, stakeholder, and life cycle. So on top of them, I must say governance is aligning them, and governance ensures collaboration ensures that how these 5 performance domains works together and give the results. Because now when we talk about the overall leadership perspective in project and program and in organization, we talk about collaborative leadership. So how we are collaborating within the program and outside the program, but within the organization. So that was the key element that we talked about when we were addressing the collaboration performance domain from the program management perspective. The 4th section is all about program activities. So when we talk about program activities, we talked about first program life cycle. Program life cycle is same program definition, program delivery, and program closure. And within program delivery, we have program formulation and planning. And when we talk about program delivery, we have component initiation and planning, component oversight and control, and component closure and transition. But when we talk about the activities help us to deliver actions and perform actions within the program life cycle. So these activities were defined with respect to the overall perspective of the program life cycle phases and how we are addressing them with specific tools and techniques. So I would say overall it's a collaborative effort from all the team leads, all the development contributors and review contributors to make something more tangible, to produce something which is more acceptable and practical in terms of understanding and in terms of relating it with the real business. And I'm thinking that, with more than 1.4 million project managers, we need to understand that program management is just not another version of a project, or not a big project, or a costly project. Program management is a mindset. Program management, it helps you to see how you are delivering the program from the CEO mindset. So when we were addressing the role of a program manager and program manager competencies, we were very much, I would say, practical about what kind of skills or competencies a program manager should possess in terms of business understanding, in terms of having a systematic understanding or system thinking view, and more importantly, when we are looking at the program manager role, how much political savvy a program manager is. So we add or address these key elements into this new standard for you. So it's a quick and brief summary that I just talked about in this program standard, because a lot of people ask me that, Asad, what are the big changes, and how it is going to reflect. So it's not a detailed view, but it's basically the overall understanding that how the overall program was developed, or program standard was developed with the specific mindset. So I hope you will enjoy this quick, short, brief overview of program management standard, and you will go for the PGMP certification and read the program standard. Thank you.